fine. So I'm here for the first session with you. As I introduced myself, I got the hiccups with the very first comparison of the two terms, law and act. You can interact with me, no issues. You can interact with me. The problem I felt whenever I studied any law paper is whether I can cope up with it. In the sense, I find many new terms. Even I did my schooling in Anglo-Indian school. Um, Novena was sharing, she did her school in St. Joseph. I too did my schooling in Anglo-Indian school only. So not fear of language. But I got the first fear when I went for studying law. It is looking like all I studied English alphabets only. But the problem here with me is not just English, it's all with legal meanings. It is all with legal meanings. So that gave me a fear, I would say, but I'm not threatened of law, I would say. I First thing I bought Oxford Dictionary. First thing I bought Oxford Dictionary. Legal Oxford Dictionary, not the normal Oxford English meaning. I bought the legal Oxford Dictionary. At that point, I just thought my students should not face the same difficulty. I was able to clear or I was able to classify these two words because I am a non-commerce student, so I'm not a commerce graduate. I planned that my students also should not face the same difficulty. Not only with these two words, law and act, I felt the hiccups in many cases. Okay, it's like I find some two words giving almost the same meaning. So I'm here to clarify these cases. So I'll be discussing a few words here. So I want to clarify a few words so that this session will be made effective. So let me go for a few words. One is we used to get confused with what is law, what is act, what is ordinance, what is bill, and what is statute. Usually we get a confusion on this. Okay. And apart from this, most of the cases will come across the word called as retrospective. Most of the times we come across this word retrospective. So probably I'll be discussing all these things for today's inaugural session. It's not just an inaugural session. I just want to make it effective, as I said earlier. Along with retrospective, I just want to add one more word, which is prospective. Okay. Probably you will get a wider idea about what is retrospective and what is prospective. And we'll come across different types of law. Different types of law. Already we have to discuss what do you mean by law first of all. Apart from this, we have to discuss what are the different types of law. Because here, as we are going to pursue CS, we'll come across different types of law here, and no act is giving the proper definition of, or what I would say is not the proper definition, what type of law we are following. So we will be discussing different types of law here. We have around 8 to 10 laws. We have around 8 to 10 laws, and also we'll be discussing the nature of the laws in detail. The nature of the laws in detail. To support the types of law, the nature of the laws, I'll be discussing something called as liability also. So probably we are very much aware of this word liability, right? We'll be discussing more about the word liability. Okay. So my first discussion will be on these 5 words. My second discussion will be what do you mean by retrospective and prospective? And the third discussion will be what are the different types of law we have and what are the nature of laws, how we can classify the laws depending on the nature of it. And fourth one, or supportive to the third one, what do you mean by liability, or what are the different types of liability we have? Okay. Uh, just have a make a note of these wordings so that you can have a scribbling, or you can just keep it in your mind. These are the things will be often repeating, and you might be seeing some news channels or something happening about all this. It's not only politics, right? It's all under legal side we are discussing. So we need to go for the practical side also. So we'll come to know more about practical side. First cases with respect to law and act and ordinance, bill and statute. Before that, I want to go for an activity here. Before that, I want to go for an activity. Are you ready for the activity? Who's ready to join with me for the activity? Hope I'm audible. Are you ready for joining the activity with me, along with me? Yes? Yeah, fine. So you're ready. Anybody is wearing specs here? Spectacles? If you're wearing specs, you can remove your specs. No, ma'am, I'm not wearing specs. My vision is very clear. I can have a clear vision. Then you can close your eyes. So if you're wearing specs, then it's not an issue. Even I'm wearing specs. So for some, it's like if you take out the specs, you cannot see anything. Just for discussion's sake. Uh, I'm just going to give some activity for you so that you imagine the situation. Because when we talk about different practical cases, the imagination is more helpful in discussing of the case laws. So you can imagine yourself, you need not distract, you just listen to my wordings alone. At the end of the activity, after completing the activity, I may raise you some questions where you can answer to your own self. Okay? Answer to your own self. You need not answer me directly, you can answer to your own self. And I may be requesting you to put a final answer in the chat box. Okay? So hope you are all ready. So you can imagine the situation that you are going for a leisure walk. So after all your studies are over, or you have finished your exam, you're so relaxed, you're going for a leisure walk. You do not see the screen. You make yourself comfortable because I'm not going to type anything here. So you're going for a leisure walk. Suddenly you get a small fear. It may be of any fear. Probably somebody is chasing you, or either a thief or a dog, or any fear you get. So you take up your steps in a speed. So it was a leisure walk first. Then you have started to walk little bit speed. Then you're walking. Then you get the fear, more of fear. So you want to run immediately. You want to run immediately. Just you want to escape from the place. So you feel like something bad is going to happen here. So you just want to abscond from the place immediately. So you take up your speed. And you very well know about your speed, that you cross 1 kilometer in 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. So we have some speed runners here where you take up a full speed. I hope you can sense your heartbeat. It's beating fast. One thing is beating fast because of the fear, and one thing is you are running. You are taking up your full speed, which is not the normal speed you run. Usually, if you take 3 minutes to run, cover 1 kilometer, it's like 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes you have taken to run 1 kilometer. So it's very speed. You're walking. Sorry, running. At last, you reach your home. Again, there is nobody at your home. You take your keys from your pocket, or from your bag or anything. You just open the keys of your door, your home. You go inside, directly run to the kitchen or hall to find the chilled waters from the fridge. So you're having a very fast heartbeat. The heart count is very fast. You can feel your sweat. It's like watery. Your face is so sweaty. You can find the water droplets running side of your ears. You want to have chill water, not the normal water. You want to have a chill water, so you just open the fridge and you want to take the water bottle and you find empty bottle in the fridge. I know immediately you'll be scolding your brother or sister, your wife, or any of your family members. Definitely you'll be scolding them, but there is nobody to listen your scoldings also. Nobody at home. Then immediately you find another bottle beside the chill water bottle, that is the chill empty water bottle. You immediately take that bottle, but that is not a chill ordinary water. It is labeled as lemon juice. Okay. So your brother or sister or mom has kept a lemon juice. So it's a lemon juice water bottle, not water bottle, sorry, lemon juice bottle. You take that lemon juice bottle and taste. You take that lemon juice bottle and taste. Once you have tasted that drink from the bottle, you find that that is not lemon juice, it's a soda bottle. Not lemon soda, normal soda. And you are a hater of soda. You don't like soda. You don't like soda also. You totally hate soda. You don't like carbonated drinks and soda is totally your hatred of it. It's a soda bottle. So the activity ends here. The activity ends here. You can relax yourself, please. You can relax yourself. Yes. Are you ready for my questions? Are you ready for my questions? Fine. You need not answer my questions. You can answer to yourself. When I ask for the final question, I'll say that's my final question. You can reply to me. Yes, please think to your own self how many felt the heartbeat. If you have really imagined your situation that you are in total fear, probably you might have felt the heartbeat. Probably your heart may be beating even now. Yes. How many of you felt the sweat near your ears, the side of your ears? You need not put it in the chat box. Okay. You need not put it in the chat box. I know few of my students when I do this activity, usually I do this activity for other motivation sake. Okay. So I'm just taking this activity for a different sake. Usually I do this activity for motivation sake. I just give a situation to my daughter to imagine. So I find a few of my students, what they'll do is they'll immediately take a kerchief from the pocket. So they'll just go in such an imaginating situation. Okay, so probably might have felt the sweat or may not be also. So you ran fast to your home and you find the door is locked. You want to have a sip of water, the door is locked and you started searching the keys. Probably did you visualize your handbag where you keep your keys or your pocket where you place your keys always? You might have. You might have. And you open the fridge and you find no water, no chill water. The bottle is empty, but the bottle is kept inside. The bottle is still, but no water in the chill bottle. And immediately you took the bottle beside it, which is a lemon juice bottle. Yes, my final question is here. Did you taste the lemon juice in your tongue? Did you taste it? Did you taste it? Yes. So Akshaya, what about you? Sentences, so you tasted it. Novena, you tasted it. Yes. Dayasri, you tasted it. Yes, fine. What about others? Okay. Not really. Okay, no issues. Yes, please tell me who tasted soda? Actually, I took a lemon water bottle, okay, lemon juice bottle, and once we say lemon juice because we are so thirsty, and lemon juice will be quenching our thirst. So you might have felt comfortable with lemon juice. So you might have tasted lemon juice, that sour taste, pulipu taste. How many tasted soda? Okay, Kamal, you felt soda. Okay, so that's why you did not felt lemon juice, right? Okay, yeah. Thank you for your replies. So your imagination did well. Whether you tasted or soda, it's your imagination. Am I right? Probably I helped you a way out to imagine the situation. It's all you imagined. I did not imagine. Okay, I just gave the wordings. This is what we are going to do here in Law and Act also. Okay, ma'am, how we are going to link this with Law and Act, ma'am? I'm just using the board here. I'm using the board here. When you tasted lemon juice, what was written in the bottle was some brand, okay, I don't want to mention any brand's name, lemon juice bottle. So it was labeled as lemon juice bottle. So when I told you it's lemon juice bottle and you have tasted and I gave a break, you actually tasted lemon juice bottle, right? But you tasted soda. But you tasted soda because actually that drop of drink was soda and you had a sip, it was soda. This is what act and law is. Act and laws. What I'm trying to say here is when I say lemon juice bottle, I don't know how many made a note here. I did not say lemon juice alone. I said lemon juice bottle. When I say lemon juice, you had an imagination that the drink inside the bottle was lemon juice, right? The drink inside the bottle was lemon juice, so you tasted lemon juice immediately. But actually, when you went inside, that is the drink inside the bottle, the drink inside means the what was contained, the drink contained inside the bottle was not lemon but it's soda, which means that the bottle is named, which is called as act. It gives the name. When you actually sense it, that's what you call as law. That's what you call as law. When you see the bottle or the label of the bottle, it's labeled as lemon juice bottle, lemon juice. It contains 60% lemon juice, 40% water, and some 2% sweetener or whatever it is. There'll be a list of ingredients, so you can imagine a label, right? This is what you call as act, which means it just gives you the set of some specific provisions about something. Specific provisions about something. Okay. But whereas when you say law, actually you have to go for a inside thought. As you have tasted soda here, you have to go for an inside thought and you have to actually interpret it. Okay. Actually interpret it. So few who have replied me saying that you have tasted lemon juice, probably you have seen that as act. There is a label, it's a lemon juice, so you have tasted lemon juice. But one or two here have actually tasted soda, which means that you have interpreted the taste. That is, interpreted the provisions. Interpreted the provisions. It's very simple. When I say act, it's the bare written law. is a bare written law. Having the set of rules, regulations, everything not common to all. Please make a note here. Is not common to all. The rules or regulations which we discuss here is not common to all. Is specific to one case. Probably I may go for Companies Act. Okay, but no non-commerce students are here, so probably even by knowing what about Company and Companies Act is there, which lays down the provisions for corporates, company form of business, and this act is applicable for a normal individual. Definitely no. If you want to do a business, if you want to do a business and that form of business is company, then we have to follow act. That's what you call as act. That's a written law. Okay, set of rules or regulations which is there more specific to one group of person or to one category of person or whatever it is. This is what you call as act. But whereas when I say law, you are a person, you are individual, you are a human being, you are an individual. You buy some product from a corporate, or you're going to construct a house, you're going to construct a house, and you are entering into an agreement for the building construction. You are entering into a agreement with the builder for construction of the house. Then the company will be following the act, but what you're going to follow? See, when you are born as a citizen of India, when you belong to India, and India is a democratic country, here is something we have which gives security to the society, which means public. We are the public, right? You know the statement for democratic country, we the people, it starts like for the government, by the government, sorry, for the people, by the people, and of the people. So it's very clear that the law is something which it has to protect the public. We have some fundamental rights. We have some fundamental rights, and that fundamental rights has to be protected. That fundamental rights have to be protected. So I will be following not the act alone. Company will be following the act, but law here covers a wider term, which act is covered because I am entering into an agreement with a corporate here. So act is covered. Suddenly they give some orders. The government passes some orders. Suddenly some notification means it's a publication given by the government. See, during this COVID pandemic, we have notifications, right? During this COVID pandemic, we had notifications that you should wear a mask, you should get e-pass to travel from one place to another place, and what you had to maintain a social distance, and so many things were there, right? So this comes through a notification from either from the central government or the state government. So when I say law, it's a very wider term where act, I would say, is a part of the law. So law covers act, orders, notification, bills, whatever it is, completely legal set. Completely legal set. I would say it's completely legal. Okay. When I say act is more specific, if I'm doing a partnership form of business, I'll be following Partnership Act. If I am going to do a form of business in a corporate style, I'll be following Companies Act. If I'm entering into any contract, there is something called as Indian Contract Act. Might be or may be aware of this act, which is a called as mother of laws. If this term is new, need not worry. Let this term be new itself. I want to say that when I say lemon juice bottle, please consider this as lemon juice itself. That's what act is. This might be a bit confusing you. When I say act, go specific to that act. Don't taste the drink inside. Don't taste the drink inside. But when you're going to interpret it, that is actually when you're going to resolve the case. Actually, when you're going to resolve the case. Okay, see, we are going to be professionals in some few years period. In another 2 or 3 years, we are going to be a professional in CS. So we need to handle many practical cases directly with the client. Or you may be in employment where you'll be dealing many cases where the company is going to face. So in that case, we have to resolve the case. In that way, you have to taste the drink, which is nothing but law. That's what you call as interpretation. That's what you call as interpretation. Kindly make a note. When I say act, It's just a written law, which means that it gives so and so and so. It's very clear. Act is nothing but a written law. It's very specific. When I say law, it covers everything. Everything is covered. Okay, everything is covered. This activity, that is the lemon juice activity, will be helpful throughout your curriculum, throughout your course. You may have a doubt or a doubt may be raised. Now tell me, ma'am, whether I have to follow a law or act. See, even though we have 3 law papers in module 1, the content inside the law papers are all act only. Am I right? So you'll find different topics in law papers. One is jurisprudence, one is Companies Act, one is company law, one is setting up of business entities. And under that paper, you will be studying many number of acts here. When I say act, go as per the provisions of that topic only. So when I say lemon juice, don't think inside it is soda or Pepsi or Coke or watermelon juice. It may be anything. It's just a bottle which may contain anything. But when I say lemon juice, just take over the properties or provisions of lemon juice alone. When I give a case to interpret, then you have to see this legally and not logically. Legally means what the provision says here. Okay, which means interpreting. So actually you're tasting the drink and you find it's soda or you find it's watermelon. So in this case is dealing with a practical situation that how that's how it differs from act. So there may be a case we have one of the fundamental right where you can walk anywhere or you can go anywhere and live. Am I right? It's one of the fundamental right. Probably we'll be discussing more about this in Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution gives us some fundamental rights where you have the right to walk, right to live. So right to live means includes right to walk, also right to live with dignity and other things. So when I say right to live or right to walk, okay, then why did the government announce this lockdown? Why did the government announce this lockdown? Is there any act which the government announced the lockdown? No, there is no any specific act. Actually, if you go some 100 years back, probably you may refer this act called as the Epidemic Act of India. So there was a act which was called as Epidemic Act of India, and this was before we got independence. It's around 1897. It's 1897, so 100 years back, so 120 years back. This act was brought by British government. British government only for the sake there was a plague in Mumbai. Okay, then called Mumbai. Now it's uh, Bombay, right? Before it was Bombay, now it's Mumbai. We call it Bombay. Okay, so then called Bombay. We call it as Bombay Presidency. So you may refer this act. We had a separate act which says about social distancing or whatever it is. You may go for a detailed analysis of that. Actually, this act discusses in a different way. That is, Britishers were using this act and they were shooting the people. Okay, it's all British government, right? So they were ruling us. In that way, it was discussing. And there was a discussion when we entered this 2020 with this COVID pandemic. Many said that we have to bring the act, and many governments are just following this, especially Maharashtra government and other governments, other states. They were following this Epidemic Act of India, which was 100 years old, almost more than century years old. So we should not do that, right? So, but what the government did is it brought notifications saying that maintain social distancing, wear a mask, and go out. Okay, quarantine yourself, self quarantine, 14 days quarantine. So this was bringing such a situation, and it's not by act. This is by law, which means this notification was passed only to give security for not for coronavirus positive cases, for other peoples who should not get affected by the virus. Is it clear? So this is what I want to clarify here with act and law. Okay, act and law. Probably in another 10 minutes I'll close the session. So probably you might be clear with law and act, right? Is it clear? Shall I continue? Is it clear? If you find any difficulty still in handling these two words, you may let me know. Fine. Definitely at certain point you'll get a doubt here whether I have to go for act or law. It might be clear now, but definitely in future when we come across other papers and other topics and other specific acts, I may be giving you a hint like lemon juice. So definitely you'll be knowing at that time. Okay, okay. So this is the code what I'm going to use throughout 4 months period, 4 or 5 months period. Okay. Fine. Now comes the word statute. Statute. Okay. Even when I start reading this word, I found difficulty in pronouncing. Okay, we pronounce this as statute. Okay, statute is nothing the same as act. It's a written law. Okay. Another set of wording is bill, act, and ordinance. Okay, bill, act, and ordinance. It's very simple. Whenever is something or whenever any, see, we know that act is a written law. Whenever we want to bring anything legally, just like that we cannot do. Okay, so it's not a monarchy rule means we are not under the kingdom rule. Okay, it's a democratic country. So our India is a sovereign country. We cannot go for a monarchy rule. So what happened is whenever new things are anything has to be brought into force, it has to be legally made. It has to be legally made. So usually what they'll do is they'll form a committee, and this committee will give a draft bill, which means like a draft letter format. Okay, many will have a doubt, what do you mean by bill, man? See, if you are the first, you have studied how to write a letter writing, okay, in your school days. Okay, and your teacher asks you to write a leave letter because you have taken leave. Will get a fear of writing the leave letter, right? Whether there will be any issues, what will be the language, and whether that will be accepted by the teacher. Okay, usually we'll give the reason as my grandpa did. How many times he did? This is the 15th time he did, ma'am. So usually we come across these cases. So it's like a draft letter. A bill is nothing but a document, okay? But the document need not be a legal one, okay? Only the act becomes legal one. So it's a draft document. Bill is nothing but a document, okay? Bill is nothing but a document. It's a draft document. This committee will be giving the draft bill, and it will be receiving comments from the public and other experts from law, okay, other legal experts. So even if you finish your CS, you will be there to comment on the draft. So if you want anything is not comfortable, which will not be suitable for the public, definitely you'll go for the comment. Okay, it's all there. After all this, it will be passed in the parliament. Okay, so probably you might be knowing the parliament is. Kindly bear with my spellings. I'm not worried about my spellings here. It's coming with caps A and all. We have Lok Sabha, okay, Rajya Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and President. These three comprise of Parliament. Probably we'll have another session for detailed discussion of Parliament and all. We have Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. We'll call these as two houses of Parliament, and we know that President, he is the first citizen of India. Is it a proposal to pass a new law? Yes, you have raised a question. Yes, it's a proposal to pass a new law. Means it's not a proposal, it's a draft work we are doing. Okay, it's a draft work we are doing. It's not a proposal. It's a draft work. After receiving all the comments, then it will be made as a proposal. First, we'll give a draft bill. After receiving all the comments, if something is made or any changes are made, then this will become a proposal. Then it will be taken as a bill. So probably I may take it as a second stage. Okay. First draft bill, then that bill will be taken to Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and these both the houses has to pass the bill. Pass the bill. Okay. When you talk about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, we have something called as winter season, summer season. They will not work together. They will be working for some 3 months, 4 months, twice a year. So they may not be meeting simultaneously. So this bill has to be passed in both the houses. Okay, both the houses, and this will be then receiving the assent. Okay, receiving the assent from the president. Okay, which means actually it will be said okay from the president's side. So this is like a lengthy procedure. Sometimes it happens we have to wait for some 3 or 4 years also to uh, go for bill to be passed as an act. So we have discussed this as a bill. If all these procedures are done and we have got the assent of the president, then it comes as an act. At last, the word here goes with ordinance. What do you mean by ordinance then? What do you mean by ordinance then? It's an emergency case. It's an emergency case where Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha need not be there in uh, time. So I cannot wait for them, and it's so emergency that this act has to be passed. But our constitution is defining act as it has to come across all these procedures. It has to be passed in both the houses, then it has to get the assent of the president, then only it can be taken as a very legal document, a written law called as act. But in the emergency situation, I cannot wait for the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to pass the bill, which may be taking some 1 year also. So in that case, president gives a direct assent. Okay, president gives the direct assent. Okay, but our constitution is not allowing the president to give the direct assent. Only after the bill is passed in both the houses, he can go for giving the assent. So we cannot call this as bill. Sorry, we call this as act. That's why it's called as an ordinance, which is the emergency law. So ordinance is nothing but as an emergency law. Some 1 week back, if you refer the news, it's not in Tamil Nadu. It's not in Tamil Nadu, so it's an emergency law. It's not in Tamil Nadu, it's a Kerala news. So I request you to go through this news where this Kerala news is about, you cannot give some wordings about the police force in Kerala. They have passed an ordinance. Okay, they have passed an ordinance and some against us here regarding this ordinance. So you may refer this case also for convenience. So ordinance is an emergency law, but it cannot be an act. Act is a permanent one. Act is a permanent one, whereas ordinance is a temporary one. Okay, ordinance is a temporary one, which means ordinance can be applicable only for 3 to 4 months period. After that, man, so simple. They have to pass it from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, get it passed, come it as a bill, bring it as a bill, else continue. It's like a renewal. Again, the president will give assent. So, giving life to the old ordinance. So, I remember in 2019, Companies Act Amendment. So, we are following 2013 Companies Act. Companies Act Amendment 2019 was almost taking 1 year ordinance. It's not an amended act, it's an ordinance. It was taking 3 months duration, 3 months duration, 3 months duration. Almost 1 year was done. Finally, it was passed February 2019, I think. Finally, it was passed as an act. So it's like any number of times the president may take his role because the president is given such a power. So while we are discussing Indian Constitution, I'll discuss more this in detail. So this is how I want to distinguish between bill, act and ordinance. Is the three wordings clear? Shall I continue? Shall I continue? Please let me know. Yeah, fine. So as I told you, I'll be discussing a few words. One goes with bill, act and ordinance and statutes and other things, and another one is retrospective and prospective. Retrospective is what you call from the earlier date. Usually we should not get this doubt when we come across the major topics. Retrospective is applicable from the earlier date. Okay. Prospective is the date which is what I would say is the actual enactment date. Okay, actual enactment date. This is what you call as the retrospective and prospective. Okay, retrospective is probably it may be taken from the present tense. Prospective. Okay, prospective. Probably you get an arrears of your salary. Okay, arrears of salary, which means that this arrears will be taken probably from, for an example, say from 8 months back. So this arrears of salary will be pooled for 8 months. Then it will be given as the whole arrears. This is what you call as retrospective. Prospective means probably they may be mentioning a date. From that date alone, it will be applicable. Retrospectively, from the earlier date, it will be applicable. Yes, I have a question here from you saying that what about statute, ma'am? Yes, statute is nothing but written law. When I say statute, it is about very particular thing. Okay. For example, if I go with Companies Act, it has many provisions. It has many chapters and many provision, and one chapter may be discussing about incorporation of a company. Okay, incorporation of a company. Another chapter is there which will be discussing about the management. That is about the board of directors, their powers, their duties, and all. Okay, management. Okay, management. Okay. So in this case, when we talk only about incorporation, only when we talk about management, this is what you call a statute, which is nothing but written law. But when I say act, it's the whole of the Companies Act. Okay, that's what I earlier I said. Act is nothing but the written law. Statute is also the same. Probably you may take a part, may be considered a statute. Is it okay? Hope you're okay now. Is it okay? Shall I? Yeah, fine. Then I'll go for types of law. Before that, I may go with liability. If I go for liability, I'll be discussing two types of liability. One is civil liability. Okay, one is civil liability and another one is criminal liability. So probably you know that you do some murder or theft or some type of this crimes, you will be punished. Definitely we get the punishment. For the criminal case, the punishment will be fine. So you'll be levied fine or imprisonment. You'll be put under jail, imprisonment. So you'll not get the rights to move or roam about. When it goes to civil case, it ends up with liability saying you have to pay the damages in case it's a building contract. Okay, it's see, for crime you may take, probably might be knowing more about crime. Okay, so this may be like theft, murder. Okay, you may be knowing many crimes. Okay, when it goes for civil cases covers with liability of damages and compensation. This you may compare or you may take it as an example for some trade disputes. Okay, or even we were discussing with respect to some building construction. So you are entering into a contract with a builder and he is not constructing your building in time. So you file a case on him for the delay in construction. So he will go for the compensation, right? So you will ask for the compensation. He has to give the compensation. Also, he might be ending with paying damages. So this is what you call a civil and criminal cases. Okay, civil and criminal cases. Uh, we have different types of law. As we have stated, one is civil law. Second one, criminal law. Okay. Third, actually we have some 8 to 10 laws. If I talk about companies, I have corporate laws. Okay. We are going to discuss all these things in our syllabus. Okay, all these things in our syllabus in a wider angle. We have something called related to trade, business called as commercial law. Okay. We have something called as family law, talking about family matters. Okay, family law, talking completely about family matters only. The divorce and marriage and other things. We have something called as copyright, patent. Okay, copyright, patent, and it's called as intellectual property laws. You term those as property, but it's not direct tangible property. It's intangible property and it's intellectual property we say, and it's covered under intellectual property law, which we have Patent Act, Copyright Act, and so many acts we have. And I have a few job goers here. Probably you'll be covered under labor laws. Okay. You may be in administration side or any other, depending on your job nature. So we have something called as labor laws. Apart from this, we have tax laws like GST and income tax. We have tax laws too. And also we have, our country is Republic of India, and we have an Indian constitution. So constitutional laws, that's a very important law, because being a citizen of India, definitely we have some rights, and which act or which law gives those rights to us? That's a constitutional law. And apart from this, I may state many more laws. One is called remedial laws, also is there. When I say remedial laws, it will give you remedy. Okay. What type of, for example, there is a delay in building construction, what I have discussed in the civil case. What remedy it's going to give to me? Okay, that's what you call as remedial laws. Okay, you can file a case and so on, so on. Okay, so on, so on. That's what you call as remedial laws. These I may put under the heading types of law for your convenience, because you want to classify in a better way. So I may call this as types of law. Apart from this types of law, I may give, or I may classify these law in a broad way called as nature of laws. Okay, nature of laws. Uh, the broader classification on nature of laws, only two things. One is procedural law. Okay, one is procedural law. Okay, I don't know why I'm getting all the A's in caps. And one is substantive law. Substantive law. It's a beautiful way of finding the nature. What do you mean by procedural law? That is talking about procedures, or what you call as talking about what I would say rules or regulations. Okay, it gives a set of rules or regulations. We just go and follow the rules or regulation. For example, we have probably you might be knowing about Indian Contract Act. So it just says we need to have an offer, we need to have an acceptance. You are here, probably you might be not aware of the laws in particular. Probably you don't know about anything about law. If you are totally new to the law, uh, probably you might have heard um, civil procedure code. Okay, civil procedure code or criminal procedure code. See, if any crime happens, see the name itself of the code is civil procedure, criminal procedure. See, just think you have, you are a witness of a crime. Okay, you are a witness of a crime. You are not directly involved in the crime, but you have become a witness in the crime. Or some theft has happened. Definitely, there is a lot of procedures, right? You cannot directly go to the court and say, "My lord, that this is being happened. Please get my things back." You cannot directly say this, okay, to the judge. What is there is you have to go to the police station. It's a long procedure. You have to file a FIR copy, and the police will make some inquiries, investigation, and then they will trace out some persons having some jewels or whatever it is. Or if a murder has happened, then they'll go for forensic department, and they'll go for postmortem report. There's a lot of procedures. There is a formalities to be carried over. This is what you call as procedural laws. Okay, but if there is any law which contains the substance, like Indian Contract Act talks about what is the offer or what is the acceptance, or when you talk about uh, better example I would give is Indian Penal Code, I would say. Okay, when we know about IPC, probably you might have heard of this IPC sections. Okay, you might have seen in some movies, or you might have checked in some news channels or papers saying the IPC sections for rape or for murder or whatever it is. This IPC sections talks about the substance. Okay, talks about the substance. What has actually happened? Okay, what has actually happened? This is what I call as substance. To prove the substance, whether this person X is murdered by Y, whether this person X is murdered by Y, then we need, see, X is murdered by Y is a substance. Whether this person is murdered by Y, we'll get through some procedures to check whether this murder is done by this person only. There is a steps to follow to find the person. This is what we call as procedural laws. So we have procedural laws, we have substantive laws. So these are the terminologies. It's very, very important. for a better understanding, will be coming across all these types of laws. See, I have stated one law is missing. That remedial law I stated, right? It just gone down. Yeah, so here. So I have totally 10 laws. It's just not 10 laws. I may bring a big list also. I may talk about foreign exchange law. I may talk about many laws. Just for convenience sake, I have given a small list. Okay, at least a 10 number. So I just want to round off the figure. So we have discussed types of laws and nature of the laws is very important. We'll be discussing all these in our subsequent sessions. May not be in detail with respect to wordings. We'll go in detail with respect to the act and we will be discussing all these things then and there. So as I told you, we have discussed many things here. Yes, if you have any doubts, you can get yourself clarified. You can ask me here, no issues. Indian Penal Code is very simple. Indian Penal Code is for what things you can levy penalty. Okay, Indian is India. Okay, for what things you can leave penalty. That's you can levy penalty. So see, uh, as a mom, I shout at my daughter. Okay, can you put me in jail? Can I be imprisoned here? Try to get my point here. If as a mom, I shout at my daughter. Okay, it's not that I don't have love and affection on her. Okay, as we say mom and daughter, we usually talk about the relationship, parental relationship. The parental care will be there. As a mom, if I shout at my daughter, if I scold my daughter, my question here is, will I be imprisoned? Could you please give my answer here? Okay, if your answer is no, if your answer is no, in some other countries, in some other countries, you will be imprisoned. You will be put in jail. If the child calls to the police, you will be put under jail. Okay, you will be put under jail. So what I'm trying to say is, for what and all you can give the punishment. For what you cannot give the punishment. Okay, you may ask, ma'am, she's my daughter, my kid, my child, my son. I have the rights over him. Even though you have the rights, you cannot shout at her or him. This is not the law in India. My point here is, for what are the things you can levy penalty? Penalty is a common word which covers fine and also imprisonment. It's a common word for both fine and imprisonment. Okay, so penalty is a common word. Hope it is clear for you. Kindly let me know whether it's clear. Substantive law. Yes, sure. When I say substantive law, it will have some content. It's very simple. It will have some content. Okay, probably we'll be dealing some topics with in labor laws called as Factories Act. Okay, Factories Act. If you go there, it will not talk about procedures and all. What you know what will the Factories Act talk about? If you are working in a factory, you should the who the occupier, we say the management, has to maintain health, safety, and welfare measures for the laborers over there. Okay, but for the laborers who get wages. So this is giving some content. So it's talking about some substance for the people working there, right? This is what you call a substantive law. Probably this will be helpful for you. And there's another question. Civil and remedial law sound the same now. Can you please be more precise with any example? Yes. Uh, Remedial law is if any law gives you remedy. If any law says that you can go to the court of law, or you can even if you talk about you find some boards in front of the gate, right? So no parking in front of the gate. It's it's like a self remedy. See, if anybody parks vehicle in front of your gate, how can you take your car outside your home? It's not possible. So what I do is I can put a board on my own. I did not get the permission. It's a remedial law. Okay. This will be dealt under law of tort, which we have there in our detailed syllabus. Civil law is it's our personal rights and liability. civil and remedial, see, it's all different angle, we'll be getting overlapping in every cases. It's not like I'll be talking only about civil, I'll be talking only about criminal, or only about remedial, only about procedural. We cannot do that. Everything is combined in, everything may be combined in one single act. Okay, everything may be combined in one single act. Hope that was helpful for you. Yeah, thank you, Pa. Thank you.